Hey everyone, this is Abby, and you're listening to Statik Noise Podcast. Thanks for joining us for the next episode, where we'll be speaking with and interviewing CEO and owner Mitch Green with independent publishing house Rad Press.
Back on the air after an interruption due to a technical problem.
Would you rather be paralyzed or dead?
I'd like it.
You don't even look like a gentleman. Would you give me a drink?
I take a respected representative.
Meet us in the alley tonight at 7:30.
What's the meaning of that?
Hi everyone, we're back and broadcasting live here in the studio with Mitch Green. Thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing dandy.
You're doing dandy. That's great. That's always great to hear. So the reason I wanted to interview you so much today is purely because of the fact that you are pretty much making headlines right now with your independent business. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're making ground with the whole host of different types of genres and artists across the globe, and featuring different writing styles and publishing books, trying to branch out and create a solid brand that all artists can resonate with. So there's a lot coming in this new year, but it's looking up.
Cool beans. When did you first realize that you wanted to do this? I mean, were there any previous jobs you had before taking the leap to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I'm a writer, but I've always wrote for years. But it didn't dawn on me until 2014, 15, when I started getting into the market in the platform of publishing, and learning the different, how to manage a company. And then 2016 is really when it hit, after a falling out with the past business, and I've learned the ropes through them, and basically took on the model but switched it to make it more professional, and use a design skill to create covers and basically bring on book creation into the audience.
Well, you said you have always written, but you learned a lot from a previous company. Did you learn from them, or did you go to any universities for what you do?
Yeah, I studied it online at Southern New Hampshire University, but it was English and creative writing.
Bachelor's?
Yeah, I got my bachelor's.
Cool.
But it was funny because I know my senior year I actually started getting into design, which I always created my own book covers. But then I got into design, and I was like, this is something. And so there was a media for it, and there was a market, and then people kind of just started messaging me, and I just started designing covers, and then it went from that to a literary press. And I did learn from the company different softwares, and learning how to, basically run them in a way that I used it and basically took it in to help my own company, which formed and is growing today.
Okay, so did you branch off from this other company? Do you mind me asking who you worked for, or is that just a thing of the past for you?
Well, that bridge is already burnt, but and there's a lot of bad blood, so I'm not gonna name names, but the majority of the people who are in the community will know what I'm talking about. And
in community, you mean like clientele and like writing community that you're associated with?
Yeah, poetry, writing, art in general, Instagram mostly. But Instagram has become a platform to cater to different individuals, like artists, and I wanted to create a model that would basically help promote them and give them a voice. And you know.
Okay, cool. So Instagram is basically your market platform right now then.
Yeah,
so you're trying to capture attention with social media basically.
Yeah, and that is my key platform. Started writing on it and didn't know what it was about, and then I figured, well, there's all this potential, and so I just started advertising Rad after the falling out of the company, and took in numerous clients that just came out of nowhere, and I was like, well, this is something. So, and I'm still taking on clients today.
What kind of clients do you work with? Is it just writing, or just, you know, here in the U.S.?
Well, not now, it's writing. I've got there's a photography magazine that's forming in this year, in a couple of months, and it's basically on cater to art, like photography mostly, anything visual. So I'm trying to branch further from literature to photographic material, and then soon audio, when that's in the future.
Oh, that's cool. So as far when you mean audio, when you try to link that to the design work that you do, have you designed for previous art, like musicians as well?
I've done twice I've done 2 album covers.
Cool.
And I'm working soon on a future one. But it's always fun to learn something new that's still in the same genre, in the same field, but in different mediums like music, film, and music in general. But I'm still trying to adapt and take in new things.
So it seems like you've got a lot of clients from different ranges of media. I mean, you've got your photography clientele, you've got your writing community surrounding you, and musicians. So as an independent publishing house, I mean, that's a pretty big deal that you're covering every sector of media right now. And I mean, why do you think all of these clientele are coming to you? Like, what do you offer to these clients that any other publishing house wouldn't?
Well, I think it's got a lot to do with appearance and how your relationship is key. There's a lot of publishing houses out there, and there's still some building today that are genuine and they interact with their, clientele or their artists. But we want to make sure that there is there's kind of a bond between each other, and you can message at any time, and honesty is key as well. But to bring something new to the table is design to me. I've seen a lot of publishing houses, and the visual appearance of the book itself half the time doesn't really hit on the head and captivate like it should. I feel like you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but to a certain extent you should, because if you're going through a bookstore and you walk through a bookstore, you're looking through books, millions, hundreds of books if it's a huge bookstore, and it's the artwork that really grabs you first, and the title, but mostly the artwork, and for me anyway. And then you open it up and it's a badass book, but you got to capture them first. You've got to draw them in, and I feel like that is essential.
Right. And as far as you said bookstores, what kind of you self-publish, correct? Or no, you don't self-publish. The clients that come to you self-publish, right?
Basically, we offer self-publishing, which we don't see the self-publishing in a way. Self-publishing to me, authors do not get as much back as we try to give them. We try to make it a point to make them get enough profit back that actually they feel like they're selling a book. And you look at all these other sources like publishing through Amazon in general, you only make like $2 per book, and half the time that.
So you have a shop as well then, so you can sell the book through your company.
Yes, we sell through Rad Publishing.
And what do you offer when you do that?
We offer marketing. We sell through on the sites radpublishing.co, and we have a bookstore in there that showcases all the artists' books. You can purchase them, and we get 55% royalties, which means every book that's sold through the bookstore, they get 55% of the sale, regardless of shipping and all that. Now it's different through global distribution. They make 50%, but it's at 90 days, so it takes a little longer, and we try to get the royalties in as fast as possible.
So 55%, that's a pretty big chunk out of the book profit or what they're selling. I mean, that's enough for an artist to buy food with.
Basically.
Versus, like you said, Amazon or something like Books & Noble, Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Books & Noble. Books A Million, excuse me.
Same thing. Yeah.
I mean,
but
I've seen where authors can host book signings and events at these places and then sell their book online through Amazon, like you said, but they only get a small percentage. I mean, that's not going to pay the bills, and that's pretty cool what you're doing.
Yeah, and see, I did that. I self-publishing. I made probably in a total $2 and some change. I mean, I wasn't the best seller, of course, but being that you gotta basically be a bestseller and sell millions of copies. But yeah, like saying to make a living or be able to put food on your table. Let's say a book's $15.99. You could cut that in half, and that would give them enough to basically they can go get McDonald's or they can get
at least
Starbucks.
It's food, right?
And after enough sales, they sell 50 books. Look at that. I mean, you can make hundreds of dollars. And that's the thing. We offer, of course, package deals, which cost to get things done, but that's it though. We design, we edit, and publish.
You put it through
so
production.
there's a lot of work involved. So of course we ask for a profit, and but we try to make it where they can make their money back.
Right. So with that being said, so profit and basically living cost. Do you think that's one of the biggest challenges visual artists and poets and the art community faces alike?
Oh yeah, living off of your craft is hell. Is you've got to be able to make enough money to pay rent.
You got to be able to market yourself.
You got to be able to market yourself. That's the thing. You see, a lot of people think, hey, I'm gonna put a book out, and boom, I'll be fine. I'll make this much money. And if you're not marketing yourself, or if you're not marketing in general, you're not getting in the audience. And some people have a huge fan base, and others not so much, but their writing is really good. And I've seen oftentimes, and this is a huge topic for many literary artists, and there's a lot of talent out there that's undermined by pointless bullshit.
Right.
And
that's how it usually is, right?
Simplistic stuff that doesn't. It's horrible, but it's the poets basically.
The poets.
It's Instagram's awesome to the point for marketing, but when it comes to the platform of writing, there are these killer poets that are and writers and artists that don't
They're
get as much.
Kind of generic, basically.
Well, yeah.
Or so to speak, like something you could see any day, anywhere, kind of. But then they're kind of overmining.
Yeah.
The underdogs that you see.
Yeah, basically. You could take, for example, I ain't gonna name names, but you see some of these with 50,000 followers, 150,000 followers who write fucking a sentence of bullshit, and it's what the hell? I can do that. And then you see somebody who writes really in-depth, descriptive text and poetic lyrics.
And you're like, damn, that should be in a book somewhere. I want to buy that book, but you can't find them.
But you look at them, they've only got maybe 1,200 followers, that's another.
So it's all about popularity as to kind of who sees you, but for you're kind of close-knit to your community.
Yeah.
You want to see people succeed.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big deal.
And see, another thing, I don't think followers are a big thing. I used to, and I really now. I just feel like you do it to make you feel what you do love. What you love doing.
Right.
And if you love it, keep doing it. Don't worry about how many hearts you get on a post. I feel like that's just, you know,
Right.
that's not important.
Do you think the significance of these social platforms influences whether or not people actually keep perfecting their craft, or whether you think it's a make or break for some people that don't have that strong mindset?
Yeah, definitely. There's some people who I've seen it happen. Basically say they're gonna shut down their account, or I'm not getting enough likes or followers, but it's not about that. I'm like, you got to find out what made you want to be that, and a writer or an artist, and you got to go back to the roots of that, because I feel like Instagram is awesome for a platform. You put your stuff out there. If they like it, cool. If they don't, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you do, and it'll all eventually come into place. And it's life, though, you know.
Right,
Life's hard.
right.
So
Everybody's got a make or break point, and you just got to figure out what's going to work for you, basically.
yeah, it takes a while.
But like you said, with some of those key people in the community that you think have the they could expand, and they just are there as underdogs, basically.
Yeah.
That kind of relates back to, I guess, what you would say a creative block.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal opinion, every artist has to contend to a creative block.
Oh yeah, that's given.
Do you have creative blocks?
Oh yeah, all
How do you
the
deal with
time.
them?
Sometimes I just sit there and stare at screens, or I listen to music, or I get frustrated and eat food. And I just walk away. But that's given. If you're in a creative, if you're creative in general, like if you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're a poet, a painter, it doesn't matter what you are. You're gonna have roadblocks creatively, and it's gonna feel like you're talentless. Basically, you're like, I'm not good at what I do. I suck, or I can't get it out of my brain.
Right.
And you feel like you
I
hit
think
your
that
head
goes
against
towards
the wall.
anyone.
Yeah, and then
Anyone
eventually,
with a career.
and I feel like if you just sit back and you let it stew for a little bit, and you're gonna wake up one day and it's just gonna come pouring out. And it'll be there, and you'll realize, well, there it is. And that's what's been gnawing at my mind for a while.
Right. So when you're getting ready to create a new piece of, art or visual art, or even if you're writing, I mean, do you have repetitive rituals that help you get to that point?
Writing, more so than design. Design, I just go in with nothing.
It just comes natural to you, kind of.
It takes me a while sometimes. It takes me a while sometimes, but I just keep focusing on it. But writing in general, I like to, of course, listen to music. I love music. Music to me is what inspires me to write. Visual context, such as film. I've been known to watch a film while I write, just to capture the visual scenes and somehow convey that into my writing. And then I've also listened to music so I can get the rhythms and of some of my favorite artists to somehow, kind of get inspired.
Coerce it into what it needs to be, kind of.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. So, with us, you're talking about a creative block. Would that also apply to like having like an inner critic, basically?
Oh yeah.
How do you silence it?
God.
Like, how do you?
You don't silence.
You don't
it.
silence
You shove
it
in a drawer somewhere, and you don't let it breathe.
So it's kind of like a voice that's just always there in the back of your head. It's like, this is wrong. This is wrong.
It's like,
this isn't
suck,
perfect.
You suck. Stop. What are you doing?
Like, this has to be perfect.
Find a real job, but you just basically gotta snuff it out and as best you can. It's about impossible though.
When you say find a real job, do you think this is a real job?
Yeah. It's become it's not. It don't feel like a job. I mean, it can at times.
Does it feel like a job because you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a job. There's certain things
Right.
about it, but that's, to me, I feel like that's that's the career move.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to make out of it, and create open a studio or open a place of business in the future. Right now, the finances aren't completely there, but it's definitely, getting it all together.
Right.
But
So in terms of financial growth, you said 2016. It's 2018. So you've been working on growing this independent business for what, 2 years now? About a year and a half, 2 years.
About
So
2 years,
in terms of like exponential growth, I mean, how far out have you reached? Are you still just in the U.S. or are you like global right now?
Well, we've reached global in clientele. Especially at Cult Magazine, which is a literary mag that we feature photography, art, poets, writers, what have you. We've reached we've reached London, what was it? The UK. Oh, that's London. We've reached India. Where else is there?
I mean, I checked out some of your clients.
Yeah.
I've checked out some of your stuff before interviewing you previously, and I mean, I saw clients in Australia,
Canada,
Tobago's like near Venezuela. I mean,
that's one of the longest, furthest ones.
So like really out there, like in the islands, like in the Caribbean.
Yeah, definitely. There's also talk about what is it? I know we've done one, and I can't think of it. There's so many.
Just so many.
They're scattered. It's global, definitely though, and I know there's, and hopefully more to come. I think it was Switzerland.
Oh wow.
Something, and I know it was, but I was still trying to get.
It's a lot. But
Copyrights
then too,
and
I know
stuff.
I took a look at your website and your portfolio. I've seen some of the designs that for books you've published. So I mean, if anyone's interested and they want to go check it out, I'm sure you can find the areas that each author's in with the bios on the books that are being sold and.
Yeah, definitely, but you check out their work, and we like to market them through social media, which is, I feel like that's the main thing.
Because it's so widespread.
Social media has become the new market. I mean, you look at Netflix; it's like the new platform for film. So I think.
I watch Netflix every day. I don't even watch TV anymore.
They got blocked. So it's like, just like that. Social media has become more than just chatting online. It's become.
It's become an entire network in itself.
You can make it what you want it, and your brand is your account. But
that's really awesome.
So,
what if any of our listeners were to come to us and ask where they could submit work or reach out to you for project work? I mean, how would they get in touch with you?
Oh, that's easy. They would go to radpublishing.co.
So the website,
and
the shop.
There's a tab that goes to book inquiries, which they can go there and they can fill out
and see the different services on the website.
We'll still put the services up, but they can email us and we'll go into detail the whole shebang.
You and your board of editors, basically.
Yeah,
okay.
And the whole, everything in general. We'll go over everything. We like to be very detailed and letting everybody know, the entire process. And you can also find Instagram, which is at Rad Press Publishing, and we're really active on there.
Okay,
more so.
Cool. That sounds like a plan. So I mean, this is great. I mean, this is becoming a widespread thing. I'm really glad to see your business growing. I've known you for a while now, and I'm really glad I was able to sit down with you today and have this interview with you. Hopefully it'll reach out and grab some attention of some viewers and some listeners, and hopefully get you some more clientele. I mean,
that'd be awesome.
Sounds pretty good what you're doing. You're a really nice guy. You're a really cool guy. You're really, to me, I feel like you're a really straightforward person, and I appreciate the work you're doing for such, on a smaller scale level of people that otherwise probably couldn't do this through another company.
And that's another thing I get. I get a lot of people like, I've never published a book. This is my first book. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's scary, and I'm like, well, I'll guide them through it. I'll show them how, I'll be right there. I take the work, and I'll,
take it personally.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
and
great.
By the end of the process, I try to make it as smooth as possible. So
that's awesome. All right. Well, it was great for you to come in and sit with us and interview with us, to tell us a little bit of your background and story and what you're building with this company. And I look forward to seeing more of your work. I'm definitely going to be keeping up with what you're doing. I think it's awesome. for the artist and writing community. I think it's a great thing what you're building here. As far as our listeners, if you want to tune in as well and you want to go follow their Instagram and keep up with what they're doing as far as magazines and books they're releasing and pre-orders, you can follow them at Rad Press Publishing on Instagram. And if you want to do the works and you want to get author bios and you want to check out their bookstore, or you want to submit your own work or check out their magazines that they have out, their website is radpublishing.co. That's where you can get in touch with Mitch here or any of the guys and gals on the editorial board. But yeah, it's been great. I look forward to talking with you again.
Thanks for having me. It was nice talking and telling my story, and stay rad.